Although the Virginia and New Jersey gubernatorial races may be raising alarms for Democrats, it shouldn't be overshadowed the fact that black candidates made history last night on several fronts. For starters, cities like Pittsburgh, Kansas City, and St. Petersburg, Florida just made history by electing their first black mayors ever. In Durham, North Carolina, the first black woman ever will now be mayor. In other cases, candidates of color expanded political power in other ways. Eric Adams became New York City's second black mayor. Alvin Bragg will be the first black person to be Manhattan's district attorney. Winsome Sears is now the first black woman to be Virginia's lieutenant governor. First-time candidate and former Obama intern Justin Bibb is now Cleveland's second youngest mayor. Michelle Wu is now the first woman and person of color to be elected Boston's mayor. And Dearborn, Michigan just got their first Arab American and Muslim mayor. And those aren't even all the wins. So what does this all mean for black power, the power of the black vote, and the power of people of color? Joining me now is someone who just might know a thing or two about making history himself, Pennsylvania State Representative Malcolm Kenyatta. So, Representative Kenyatta, what do you make of all of these wins by black candidates across the country, really? Very broad spectrum of wins.
You know, I think a part of what you're seeing is people who, in many cases, maybe they were involved in politics, tangentially, stepping up and saying in these really big and critical ways that they have a life experience that's grounded in the concerns that so many Americans have. And I will tell you, as I go around Pennsylvania running for the US Senate, I meet people every single day. They don't look like me, they don't love like me, but they understand what I understand about what it means in a real lived way when government doesn't work. You mentioned in your opening there, the first black mayor of Pittsburgh, my good friend and current colleague, Ed Gainey, who's going to be first black mayor of Pittsburgh. And you go back and look at Ed's campaign and him laser focused on housing and affordability and how to make sure we zone our communities in a way that allow for growth, that protect long-term residents. And he was able to talk to that and speak to that, I think, so effectively because of his own experience growing up in Allegheny County and in Pittsburgh, not having, adequate, stable housing. And so I think that there's something so powerful about having candidates that reflect the fullness of the American experience, because that's how we're ultimately going to do the hard work we need to actually fulfill the fullness of the American promise.
How much of this is about the divergence of an urban municipal America from a state level America that is largely governed or governed to a disproportionate degree by rural populations?
And I say this honestly, right? Of course, we have cultural differences, but I think about all the time going around Pennsylvania, and you think about the height of the pandemic, we had so many kids, right, who then had to start learning virtually. If you lived in a county like Greene County, where we haven't built out broadband, you had so many kids that were going to the parking lots of McDonald's and of local businesses to get on Wi-Fi. I mean, think about that. And then we have people in cities like Philadelphia where we have the infrastructure built out, but there's a real issue with affordability and accessibility. Now, in both instances, you have young people who aren't positioned to get all that they deserve in terms of the instruction that they need because we haven't dealt with the disparities in terms of people being able to connect online. That's a rural issue. That's an urban issue. Part of what we cannot do is not assume that everybody in a rural community is not going to be for what Democrats are for, but also we can't assume that everybody in the city is resonating with what we're talking about. It's going to require us to actually do hard work, go everywhere, talk to everybody, and build a big coalition. And that's what we've done all across Pennsylvania. And that's what I think all these effective campaigns that you mentioned, that's exactly what all of them did as well.
Do you think there's a fair analysis to categorize this as a wave of elections that George Floyd won? I mean that in the sense that it took a while for these governor's races to come up and a lot of black candidates entered. And also on those local municipal levels, there were a lot of ballot initiatives that ended up winning that were centered around issues of dealing with policing. Is his shadow looming large over this particular election?
Ultimately, you know, for so many people, the death of George Floyd was a catalytic moment, and it helped to galvanize an international conversation, frankly, about the work that we have yet to do on this front. But I think ultimately, what we need in this moment is to actually do what people were calling for in that moment. I mean, I think about after George Floyd was murdered, you saw protests in 61 of 67 counties in Pennsylvania. I mean, that's hard to do. 61 of 67 counties in Pennsylvania. But what we haven't done at this point is actually pass the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. What we haven't done is actually look at how we deal with issues of probation and parole. What we haven't done is really understood that, yes, this is an issue um, that does require action, that requires action right now. And frankly, it's costing us a lot of damn money, leaving folks warehoused for making a mistake as opposed to putting folks on a path where they can actually be engaged, full members of their communities. And so at this moment, I think for everybody who looked up and saw George crying for his mother and recognized, hey, you know what? That stuff that we've been talking about for a long time, it's now time that we actually do something on that. We still have a window of opportunity to do that. I know in Pennsylvania, we tried to get some things done, not everything I would have wanted, but we got, four bills that were passed unanimously done right after his murder. But there's so much more that needs to be done. And listen, the best time to do it would have been yesterday. The second best time is today.
Malcolm Kenyatta, thank you so much for joining us tonight. I really appreciate your time.